Hello. Um, AFC West. Yeah, the wonderful thing we call the AFC West. Um, Predicting the records. Currently have all the rest of the AFC done. Got all my predictions. I'm actually like pretty. I like them. I think everything looks about right. I don't know how I feel about like the Colts Titans situation. The AFC South's a little but I feel like it's about right. Maybe not the games, but definitely the records seem about right. AFC North, everything looks right. But yeah, AFC West. This is what it really comes down to. I currently have the Raiders sitting at 6-0, which I guarantee they will not have an undefeated season. Let me tell you that right now. Every game they have is hard. Every game is hard. Holy fuck! They don't play a bad team. They just actually don't. They play the Seattle one time. Holy crap! They actually don't play a bad team. They play the Chargers, who can make a run this year. Cardinals just did last year. Look, okay, so we're talking about playoffs. Definitely playoffs this year. Playoffs last year. Playoff last year. Playoff this year for almost certain. Playoff last year. They get the okay. They play bad teams. They play okay. I forgot I already have okay. They play like some bad teams. They play Houston easy. They play Jags easy. They play Patriots, and not a free team. Made the playoffs last year. Steelers made the playoffs last year. They constantly are playing teams that either made the playoffs last year or this year. They have 3 games versus teams that weren't in the playoffs last year and probably won't be this year, or won't be this year. I mean, guys like the Saints weren't last year, or this may not be this year. I think I probably have them in the playoffs, but that's just me. This schedule is loaded. Holy crap. That's insane. Yeah, they're gonna treat you like a bitch. Anyway, anyway, we're gonna start with the Raiders because I don't want them to say they're undefeated right now. I don't really like that. Personally, I just simply cannot let that slide. Okay. Week 1 versus the. I want to pull up the offensive and defensive rankings just to have them on standby. Just to have them on standby. Okay. Raiders, week 1 versus the Chargers. Versus Chargers at Chargers. This is gonna be like. This could legit. Okay, I don't know why the screen is white. I think I broke it. Reload the page. This could deadass be like the highest scoring game we've ever seen, and I'm not even kidding. Look at these offenses. Like, let's look at this offensive rankings. Chargers top 4. Raiders were top 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They were 11 last year, but they just got Devontae. So this team, literally these 2 teams could legit end both of them in the top 5 this year. And the crazy thing is, they both have bad defenses. Last year, Chargers were 3rd, Raiders were 7th. Both have terrible defenses with great offenses. This will legit, like, okay, I'll go ahead and say that I am thinking the Chargers will take it though, because I don't think either team is going to be able to stop the other one on defense. But the more likely one to stop the other is the Chargers because J.C. Jackson specifically and Derwin James, like that defense is very promising on paper. Obviously, last year it wasn't that good, but that was before you had Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. I think adding those 2 guys basically make this defense not the best in the division, but definitely the 2nd best in the division. While last year it was the worst. So I would definitely be taking the Chargers here. This could actually just be one of the highest scoring games we've ever seen. Genuinely, it's insane because the offenses here, dude, they're insane. um, yeah, that's insane, dude. I've also been kind of dunking on this Vikings defense, and I haven't really been talking about it, but I kind of want to change them. My pick. I mean, I don't think I've changed any of these picks actually. Yeah, actually, I don't think I changed any of these picks. But again, I'm kind of dunking on this Vikings defense when they actually did kind of support it way better. But I'm not gonna be changing anything because I got to see it through. Um, uh, like adding what they did, it's just good, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure. Like, okay, I'm gonna go back. I know I flipped back and forth now, but I mean, they're not gonna beat the Bills. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty certain either way they would win these two games. The ones I'm not certain on are Miami and Colts, but I feel like the Colts can do it, definitely. And Miami is kind of like, maybe. Let's see. What does it really matter? Week one, again, this game's gonna be crazy. Both these teams are crazy. I'm gonna take the Chargers though because I think their defense is a little bit more stable than the Raiders. Not even a little bit; it's just a lot of bit more stable. I think the Chargers defense could be top 10. Could be. Probably on the lower bit of top 10 though, because I think they're very top heavy. As in, you got Derwin James and J.C. Jackson. You got Sante Samuel Jr. I just want to look at how he played last year. Is he old? Oh, I thought this dude was kind of young actually. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay, I was so confused. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, that's the. Okay. Anyway, look at how he played last year. 12 games. He injured. Don't really care. Not too bad. Stats on paper aren't too crazy, but 2 picks in 12 games. Tackler. I don't know. Chargers defense could be legit. Good cornerback core potentially. Safety, just a safety. I don't think they have a really good safety duo. I don't know. They added this defense, and it was really bad last year. But J.C. Jackson went stupid last year. And we'll see if he's actually as big of an influence as they believe. And honestly, probably will be. So, week 2 versus the Cardinals. This another incredible game where two bad defenses and two good offenses are shooting. They won't have Hopkins though, so I'm pretty certain that the Raiders can seal this one out. I think their offense is better. They're very similar teams, but I think if they had D Hop, they'd be very similar teams. But unfortunately, because like if imagine they have D Hop, great quarterback, top 10 quarterback, both of them probably. I haven't made quarterback rankings, but they're both definitely top 10 potential. If they're not, they're borderline. Top 10 / borderline top 10 quarterback. Running back is kind of uncertain for both of them, ironically enough. James Conner just made the Pro Bowl, but he was not very good on the Steelers, so shall see. And Josh Jacobs is not 100%, but we're pretty sure he's pretty decent. He's probably a little bit above average, but there's a lot of good running backs in the league, so it's tough. Wide receiver core, assuming they have D-Hop, they got a great wide receiver 1, very good wide receiver 2, and I don't know who Zay Jones is gone. Is it who's the Raiders wide receiver 3? I can't remember. Demarcus Robinson. Keelan Cole is the wide receiver 4. Interesting. Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, I knew he was on. Oh, I know who he is. He was there. Look at that. 3 targets, no receptions. I don't really care. Yeah, okay, go back. Here, it's just like, They're very similar, but I think they're similar in ways that the Raiders just kind of outclass them. The Cardinals probably more deep at wide receiver, but currently without D Hop, your wide receiver one is AJ Green, or is it Rondell Moore? And I actually don't know who your whoops. I don't know who your three is without D Hop. Oh, I forgot about Marquise Brown. I forgot about him. Marquise Brown too. Like you're very deep at wide receiver, but DeAndre Hopkins is gone, and your wide receiver core of Brown, Moore, and Green's kind of not that good. But I mean, it's not really bad. Like AJ Green was actually pretty damn good last year. Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore. I think you'll be fine. I genuinely think they'll be okay. But ultimately, you're gonna have to match two top, or not top 10, but Hunter Renfrow might genuinely be the best route runner in the league, and if not, it's top 5 almost for sure. He was doing people dirty last year, and then you gotta deal with a top 1 receiver when your best wide receiver currently is Marquise Brown. They just can't quite match it. Their defense is very subpar. It's actually not even subpar; it's just bad. Um, Last year it was good, but it's gonna fall off without Chandler Jones and like really good secondary. Like you really don't have much promising on that defense, really, unfortunately. But I think the Raiders have a better offense and maybe not the better defense, but it's not really saying much. Either one of you have good defense. I already predicted this game. I said the Raiders would because I have no idea how the Titans plan on not allowing 40 points from this Raiders offense. I genuinely have no idea. Um, yeah, I don't know how the Raiders don't drop 40 points. Like, the Titans defense is pretty bad. You got Kyle Fulton and what's his name? It's the safety guy. It's the corner guy, safety guy. I have it right. It'll come to me. It's Fulton and Biard. Yeah, that's really the only two good pieces of that defense. Or Farley. I was talking about Farley, but Fulton I think is also pretty solid. I think. I'm not sure. I didn't really watch the Titans last year, but I think I recognize his name. Okay, I was talking about Farley, Caleb Farley. Him being good. Wait, no. No. I'm retarded. Okay, I said the right guy the first time. This is why I have you second guess yourself. Anyway, um, I think the problem with this team this year is just gonna be that the Titans defense is not very good. You got guys that like can do it, like Harold Landry, like Jeffrey Simmons. Bud Dupree was decent last year when he played there. Um, the secondary didn't play too bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't like the worst. I mean, it's down there, but it wasn't the worst. Is what I'm saying. It was the worst. Um, I'm looking for the Seahawks. 17. So why is it rated so high? Like 12th seems oddly high for having like the worst passing defense. Or the second worst. I knew the Seahawks defense was bad. God damn. Crazy the Bills had like the best passing defense, and then okay. Anyway, I'm getting way distracted, but I think that it's gonna be a shootout, and it's like the past 3 games, except it's very similar to the Cardinals game, except instead the other offense is running the ball instead of passing the ball, which kind of has the same effect, except running the ball scores slower most of the time. Like if you're taking a scoring drive, so let's say you got a minute You know, a minute left on the clock. You're down 4 points. You need that score. Are you really gonna be able to run the ball there? Like, receivers need to be able to make the plays on the ball, not your running back, because he's kind of just, unless you get some crazy run outside for like 30 yards. That play still takes like 10 seconds, 15 seconds to happen, more than likely, while the receiver, takes 10 seconds max. So it's just, I would rather take like the Raiders in crunch time, because it might come down to that. The Raiders in crunch time rather than the Titans in crunch time. Um, Broncos, Raiders. I kind of feel like, okay, so I think the Broncos kind of could just sweep the Raiders, but I also think the Chiefs could also just sweep the Raiders, but I also think the Chargers could also just sweep the Raiders. um, kind of. Okay, so what I mean by that is the Broncos have a very good offense and defense, and so I don't think the Chiefs sweep the Raiders this year, honestly. I think at least one of the games it happens where the the offensive pieces from the Raiders are simply too much. I think that's gonna happen. But anyway, um, we're not talking about the Chiefs game, even though it's next. We're talking about the Broncos game currently. The Broncos game, I think the problem is gonna be that you can't just constantly be throwing that ball downfield like you would do every other week. Like, this would be the best secondary. Well, it won't really be the best secondary you face. Yeah, it's definitely the Chargers, but it'll be the best secondary you face since week one. Well, I mean, it's like Titans secondary is probably not that bad. Okay, whatever. That's not the point here. You're facing another good secondary. Um, so you're not just gonna be able to throw the ball down there and say, "Hey, Tay or Renfro's down there somewhere," or Waller. And Josh Jacobs is a pretty decent receiving back. Yeah, not just decent. I mean, he's decent. Yeah, he can receive the ball if he has to. Like what I'm saying, like, is I think the problem in this game is it's kind of like similar to the Chargers, where their offense. Oh no, the Broncos' offense is probably worse than the Chargers, but I don't know if that really matters because the defense is better. That's where like every one of these AFC West teams have something. Honestly, the Raiders could dead as have the best offense in this division, yeah, but their O line's bad. Chargers have like the best offense and could have the best defense. Actually, no, there is no but though. Like that could just be a statement because they could just have the offense and best defense in the division. But I don't think so. I think the Broncos easily have the best defense. But Mahomes, the Chiefs could have the best offense, pretty bad defense, but they might have the best O line though, maybe. Broncos could have the best defense, could also have the best offense potentially. That bad O line, like something. There's always something. There's something wrong with each of these teams. Um, Unlike this, you're very top heavy. This, the defense just outright sucks. Hold on. The Chiefs, the defense is just trash, and the Broncos, the O-line's not great, and you have very unproven wide receivers, and you're bringing in a quarterback. Well, the difference here is that, like the Raiders, you're bringing in a receiver. At least he still has other guys to throw to if this guy sucks. If Russ actually sucks on the Broncos, then that's not good because he's the one throwing the ball, and you have no backup. like, um, so yeah, like this is a new quarterback with unproven receivers. This is a bad defense. This is a bad defense, and this it's also kind of just questionable defense. But like you see, the thing here is that these are just knowingly bad. This just could be bad, and this just could be a bad offense. Not a bad. It could just be the worst offense. It's like that. Everything just could be. No one knows about this division. No one knows who's winning it. Everyone has the Raiders last, but people sleeping. I swear. Um, you don't need to have a good defense if you're constantly scoring 40, 50 points in a game. which obviously they won't be able to consistently do that. That's where they're going to have to falter versus in some games. Like, they would probably lose to people that they probably shouldn't. Like, they might lose to the Saints. I don't know. I'm not thinking about the game yet, but they could just lose to the Saints. Well, maybe they have that better team. They might even have they probably won't have the better record even. It's just, you know, or they might lose like an off game to like, they might lose like the 49ers. They might, like, I don't know, dude. We'll figure it out when we get there. Back to the Broncos game. I'm kind of leaning towards. I don't know if they get swept though. Like, I was gonna say, I'm kind of leaning towards the Broncos, but then the next time, like, are they more likely to beat them the next time though? Like, why they'd be more likely to beat them here? I don't know why I'd be more likely to beat them there than here. It's at home, so. In all likelihood, it becomes a shootout. Except the problem with this is that the Raiders might struggle, not necessarily struggle, but when it comes down to a shootout, the Broncos defense is very good. It's very good. While we know the Raiders defense is very bad. So if it comes down to like that score for score, the Raiders are probably not coming up with the turnover, really. Oh, the Broncos? Pat Surtain? We get Surtain versus Day? God damn. I don't know. I think you actually have someone, like, you have a number one corner to actually cover Tay. And obviously, you know, you still got the other guys to cover. But as long as you can cover that elite deep threat, which, I mean, hell, even Waller's a deep threat, dude. Everyone on that team is a threat. Oh, god damn. Anyway, it's just like, they actually, I like the teams in a matchup where the number one receiver is covered and the offense is great. Like, so basically you have a good number one corner. Like, versus the Raiders, I would take the other team if they have a number one corner that can actively guard Tay, a decent number two at least, and a good electric offense. And I don't know who the Broncos corner two is, but the Broncos could just sweep the Raiders dead ass. I don't know who your cornerback two is. Ronald Darby. I don't know who this guy is. Hold on, who's behind Surtain? Hold on, where was the defense last year? That's not the defense. Oh, hold on. I don't have the defensive stats. I didn't even look up the offensive. Maybe I did actually. Maybe I'm wrong. Like the Broncos, I want to look at their turnovers, see if they actually had that many. 13 interceptions. Who the hell got their interceptions? Literally just Surtain? Is that actually just it? How many picks does Surtain have? 4? He only had 4. Also, look at Surtain's stats and look how bad. Not even bad. Just look at like how they're not elite. When this guy was like very good corner last year. Who got their turnover? Justin Simmons. I forgot about him. Oh, I forgot about that man. That man's goated. I forgot they got a goated safety. I forgot about him. I forgot they actually have a good safety duo. Interesting. Anyway. More so wanted to look at how they did versus pass and run, really. I mean, they were good. I mean, I forgot about Justin Simmons being freaking insane. So I guess, like, outside of Justin Simmons and Surtain, who combined for 9, the rest of the team had 4 interceptions. That's not that good. Very top heavy, and you're gonna have to rely on them to do that to get to force turnovers. That's my biggest problem, I guess. But I mean, if you want to complain about that, let's look at the Raiders' turnovers. Oh wait, they had 2. Just kidding. They had 6. They had the least in the league. They had the least turnovers in the entire league. And that's where they're going to falter twice, and they're going to get destroyed by them twice. And honestly, they're definitely not beating the Chiefs at home. 2 electric offenses, but at least the Chiefs can force 2 turnovers. Actually, where are the Chiefs ranked at? Right here. They actually have 15. I'm assuming most of those are from, dude, everyone calls him Honey Badger, so I forget this man's actual name. I actually just forgot this man's name because everyone calls him Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu. I'm assuming most of the picks came. Oh, he only had 3. Where are the picks coming from then? Trey McDuffie's a rookie. Jerry Smith. Oh, who led this team? And the problem is, that man had what, 2? Fuck, where's it at? Fuck. He had 2, 3, 2, 3. Where'd they at? Bring it back. God dang it! I really just okay. He led the team with 3 interceptions. That's not a good thing. But either way, that's not the biggest concern here. How many picks did Justin Reed had? I can look at that. Fuck me. I want to look at how many Justin Reed, because I don't know much about Justin Reed, so I just know he's actually supposedly good. So, problem here is that neither team really forces turnovers, but the Chiefs have kind of owned the freak out of the Raiders like last year. Like, last year they were both very bad. Like, very, very bad. It was ugly. This was ugly. Tommy Townsend. Who the fuck are you? Look at this. Look at this offense. Look at this running offense. They had a grand total of, what's that? 32, 50 yards total. Insane. Anyway, it's not like Clyde Edwards-Helaire can really do any better, or Ronald Jones. Neither one of them really can do any better. But I do think that my problem, like with them versus the Chiefs, is that the Chiefs kind of just have owned them. While the Chiefs really don't have anyone, neither do the Raiders, and like the Raiders like actually don't have anyone though. That's the problem. Is that the Chiefs are bad, but at least they got like Justin Reed, and they picked up a corner in the draft. Like their defense is probably going to be at least a little bit better. While the Raiders, it could then have the worst defense in the league, and I would not be surprised at all. I would not be surprised if the Raiders had the worst defense in the league next year, because it was bad. It was bad last year. I mean, I don't think they will, because I think you still got trash teams like Houston, who really don't have much. They really just got Booth, and that's all you're relying on. You still got like the Jets. Well, they got kind of better with Jermaine Johnson and Sauce, so they might be a little bit better. And they have some guys on paper like C.J. Mosley, pretty decent. Giants could have the worst defense. Falcons could have the worst defense. I don't know. There's a lot of bad teams in this league. But either way, I don't think I think the Chiefs got a little bit better on defense. And while yeah, their receiving is a little bit, The problem is their receiving options are worse now. So while last year there was 2 blowout games, I think now the Raiders can actually take one of them. And I don't really care which one they take. It doesn't particularly matter. Oh, they're playing week 18. But I think they'll actually be playing because this division's going to be tight. So I'll wait to judge that. But either way, I think in that first actual game, especially early on, where maybe they don't know exactly how to cover this. Like we all know Tay. Luckily Tay has always had a good quarterback, so we already know, and we know what to do about Renfro and Waller and Jacobs. Everyone's been there, but it doesn't make it any easier. They didn't do it last year, and now they added Devontae. But now, I think, but I think the Chiefs have a better secondary. I think their pass rush is not better though. I think the Raiders' pass rush could force Mahomes out. Maybe make him make a bad decision. Maybe. Russ is good in the pocket. That's why I'm not really concerned. And I have him winning this because Tannehill's terrible. Uh, and here Kyler makes kind of bad decisions and just has the better offense in general. Here Herbert makes fucking insane throws no matter what. So, um, I think this game's a lot close. I think this game's a lot closer than it was the year before. Um, like last year it was 2 blowout games and they beat them by like a total of like 85 points to what 23. And the combination of both games, it's ugly, hideous even. But I think it's closer now. But I just don't know that they can get the edge. And you gotta realize that the coaching too, like they're gonna lose these close games just because coaching. I think that's gonna be a big problem too. Andy Reid's been there; he knows how to clutch it out. While I don't even know who the Raiders head coach is now. Oh, I remember like right before I clicked this, but either way, I don't know, bro. Why would there be any debate about that? Anyway, oh, I guess. Oh, is that the like the oh, the offensive coordinator with the Patriots? Wait, I don't know. Who cares? I think they're coached worse, and I think that's where Andy Reid's been going to be able to edge them out, just because coaching. Versus Houston, it's just a significantly better team. They're going to drop like 40 on Texans, and there's nothing that Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks can do about it. There's absolutely nothing they can do about it. Here, I'm gonna take Saints, and I take the Saints because I think that Saints secondary might actually just be the best in the league. You got Marcus May, you got Tyrann Mathieu, uh, you got who is it? I forgot his name. Starts with an M. Marshawn Lattimore. Um, you got the top dogs. I think it makes it very hard to just do. You actually have guys to cover everyone. And what maybe they won't do like elite job of it. Who's gonna do an elite job of covering everyone on the Raiders? But like if you can keep them in control and limit them to like 20 points, 25 points, probably more like 20. Probably about 20 points. I guarantee you the Saints can score 20 points on that defense. Like, assuming Winston actually works out and actually a good quarterback like he was playing last year before injury. You got Michael Thomas, you got Alvin Kamara, you got Chris Olave, you got Jarvis Landry. Like, you have a good Saints O-line. Like, you should succeed. Then the Saints should be good next year, and that includes beating the Raiders just because of his poor defense from the Raiders. Yeah, I think this defense is going to be a little bit much for this offense to deal with. Raiders, Jaguars, it won't be close. It's gonna drop 40 on the Jaguars, and there's nothing Trevor Lawrence can do about it. Just a better team. I really don't have to describe that much. Um, Raiders Colts would be a much closer matchup. It's very similar to like the Saints matchup, except it's kind of just worse. I think the Colts can keep this one competitive, for sure. I'm just not sure the Colts quite have the offensive firepower to deal with it. I think on defense they can actually hold them, probably like about 25 points. Like, let's see how many points a game did the Raiders score last year? Points a game, they averaged 22. They averaged 22 points a game. Who was the best? Oh my god, I forgot this AIDS. Wait, no, it's not AIDS. They averaged 22 without, you know, without Devontae. Devontae quite makes quite the difference. Isn't it crazy how the Chargers were the fifth what's it called? Fifth high points per game. They lost, and it's Herbert's fault, and that's why he's worse than the Bengals. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, I think here it's gonna be closer. Like if the Colts can hold them to like 25 points, they can keep it competitive. But I'm not sure Matt Ryan and this matchup is really good. And I could change my pick to the Colts just because I think the pass rush is actually covered by a good O line. Michael Pittman's gonna look elite because there's no good quarterback to cover him. The defense is gonna actually be able to hold them decently well with Kenny Moore and Gilmore. Like I think they're gonna keep it close, but I think in the end the Raiders offense edges it out. Just because I think this was very close, and I think the Colts could honestly take it. And I kind of want to change the pick. I'm thinking about it. I changed one of my picks before, but that was like when the same division. Like I changed a divisional game. I changed the Colts Jaguars. Uh, this one's much different because it's one that's already been predicted. I don't think I'm gonna change it. I don't think I'm gonna change it. I think I'm gonna see it through because I think the Raiders' offense can just edge out. Like the offensive difference here is very noticeable. Um, and I don't know if Gilmore's gonna be able to keep up with Tay and everyone. I don't know if we've ever seen that matchup. I don't think we have. I don't think. Oh, did we get Panthers last year? Panthers? Gilmore versus Devon. Have we had this before? It's 2018, but give me 1 second. We're about to go watch this and see who owns who. Alright. So, Gilmore easily won that. But this was also 2018, where, was the defensive player of the year for Gilmore. So, we've seen it before, but we haven't seen it recently. It's 2022. That's literally 4 years ago. So I'm not gonna focus too much on it. But Gilmore did kind of own that man, as he been on locks. Uh, wait, was he 10-6? No, I had the Chargers winning that. I don't know why that got changed. I actually don't know how that got changed either, but whatever. Um. Anyway, I think the Raiders will edge this one out just because offensively they're so much better. Here Broncos. Okay. Honestly, the Broncos could sweep the Raiders. They legit could. Just because I think they had the ability. Like I think they have the offense to do it, and I think they have the defense to do it. Okay. Especially because it's at home. I think the Broncos can sweep the Raiders. And I'm not saying the Broncos are like some elite team. Well, they are. I actually am saying that. But I think the problem here is that the Broncos have like an elite corner that can cover. They got a deep, good guy in Justin Simmons. Like, they're so much better at forcing a turnover than the Raiders are. And if they force even one, this game changes the tides because Russ in a very good offensive situation. When's the last time we saw Russ with a good defense? 2013. 2013, I think, is accurate. What did he do that year? Thought so. I think while the pass rush might be a big thing here, I think in one of these games it might change the tide. But I think as long as they find a way, like, hold on, who is the Broncos O line? I actually just don't know. I don't think it's very good. I think it's like average. I don't know any of these guys. I think I recognize this guy. I need to take a. I don't want. I don't want to look at PFF, but I really don't know who else to look at. It's convenient. I don't trust PFF because who does? But there we go. Looks like their line's kind of mid. It's quite noticeable that they did allow a lot of sacks, which Russ is not like getting sacked. This guy was on the Jets last year, yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this guy was on the Jets last year, and I'm gonna believe it. His stats aren't even ugly. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not even bad. I'm kind of kidding, but not really. Yeah, see, I was right. Yeah. I think the Broncos have the ability to sweep the Raiders, and it's not necessarily because they're a significantly better team, and I think that offense is really going to be hard to match. I think that simply because, like, when it scales, when the Broncos, oh, I forgot to turn on back on the music. I think when you look at the scaling here is where the problem is. Like, yeah, the Denver offense is worse than the Raiders offense, but the Raiders also have a piss poor defense, while the Broncos have a very good defense. So it's like scaling, like great offense, but great defense too, so it kind of evens out. While the Raiders have a good offense, or the Broncos have a very good offense versus a very bad defense. So it's gonna be tough, and I think the Broncos can honestly score more consistently than the Raiders can in this matchup specifically. And like the Raiders are kind of historically bad in division for some reason. Like for some reason, they kind of got owned. What they go 1-5 last year in division? Go 1-5 division last year. Oh, I wish I could look at the standings, but I don't look like they want to pull up. Did they sweep the Broncos, or did they lose them once? I think they swept the Broncos actually, but okay. Well, I actually just can't find it. They beat them there, and they beat them here, so they didn't sweep the Broncos. So I guess they went. But they did not beat the Chiefs either time. They got destroyed and did not. They beat the Chargers the second time. I think they lost the first time. Yeah. So I guess they went 3-3 division, but I think this year it's a very different story. I think the Broncos can get the edge here at least. Seahawks Raiders, there's no shot the Seahawks can match this offense with a piss poor defense and a piss poor offense. I mean, Chargers Raiders. I think this is where the Raiders could win a game they're not necessarily supposed to win. Yeah, I think that's what happens here. I think as they win a game they're probably not supposed to win, but they're going to anyway. Because ultimately the Chargers are not just going to win every game, They're going to win, they're going to lose some. So I think it makes sense to say that they drop a game here. Like they're right. Like what I'm like setting it out as is that they go 0-6 in division. I promise you that does not happen. So, so I think they can take a game, and I think probably like here versus the Chiefs, and here is where they most likely can gather their crap together. Um, Again, it's gonna be a lot of points scored, but I think it's gonna be very hard to beat the Chargers. You're gonna have to play. Your defense is gonna have to play a lot better. But I think this is where maybe the pass rush can actually do something. And like while it maybe in the first meeting it didn't, you can adjust. Or maybe no, it's week one. I think the Chargers win. Maybe here is where the pass rush actually takes into effect, and the Chargers not having the greatest O line. It's not a bad O line, but the more interior is better. I think with like Corey Linsley and guys like that. So I think this is where the Patriots can have really big influence. They coming off destroying the Seahawks, so and then they have to prepare for the Rams next week, which they're not going to beat the Rams. The Rams are actually for the first time all season, someone's may just actually have a better offense than the Raiders, while also having a great defense. So we've seen Ramsey and Tay before. I think Tay actually kind of owns this man, if I recall correctly, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Either way, I think I don't think the Raiders are quite ready to beat the reigning Super Bowl champs. I think the offense is gonna still do well, but I think the Stafford and Cup and um, Allen Robinson are going to absolutely destroy this defense, and they're gonna have to come up with some crap, and they're gonna come up with it and destroy the Patriots the next week. Um, yeah, they get to destroy and dismantle the Patriots defense because it's not very good. The secondary is pretty bad, and well, they could probably put pressure because the Raiders' O line is pretty bad. I don't think it's gonna be quite as much punished as you would like here, just because it's not like you need like you have two of the best route runners in the league. So it's not like you need all year for someone to develop a route because it's Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow, two extremely good route runners. So they don't really necessarily need all year to formulate a route because they got it. They know what they're doing. But they'll be quick. I don't think the Patriots can match it on offense. It's not close. Yeah, you're throwing to what? I forgot his name. I've slandered this man nonstop. Okay, no. The receiving core is not bad, but you also have to compete with Darren Waller, Devontae, and Hunter Renfrow, and that's just not going to happen, especially at home. I'm coming off a week where they competed with the Rams. And they're going to absolutely trash the Steelers. The Steelers have no one to cover anybody. They're going to get messed up, probably. So I don't think I really have to describe that one too much. The Steelers' offense can probably do well and score like 25 points ish, but the Raiders could score 40 here, and I would genuinely not be surprised. Then they're going to the 49ers the next week. I don't know that they can handle. Well, okay, can they handle? I don't. I think they can handle Trey Lance and their friends. Okay, I actually don't think so. Like, especially, hold on, I don't think the 49ers safety is very good. Or not safety, secondary is very good. I think it's very bad. Or it's not necessarily bad, but I think it's their weak point on defense. If I recall correctly. Yeah, it's definitely the weaker point. Definitely the weakest point. It's also been their weakest point for like a few years, ironically enough. It's always been their secondary. Like, look at this. Look at all this. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, D Ford, Kinlaw, like all that. And then they get like Jimmy Ward, George Odom. You know, I mean, Eh, secondary is kind of bad, but still, I think they can compete with the 49ers here, but I don't know that. I mean, Trey Lance is going to be in this groove by week 17 for sure, and if it's not Trey Lance, it's going to be Jimmy G. But we're going to say Trey Lance because if it's Jimmy G, then the Raiders will easily win that game. Uh, I don't think the 49ers pass rush, though, is kind of good. It's kind of good. How well did the 49ers actually do versus pass? They did very well, actually, even though their secondary is not very good. Didn't really come up with many turnovers, but it wasn't the worst amount of turnovers. I've seen worse. Not too bad. It's really not bad. Like, it's tough to say. I think Debo and Ayuk, paired with Trey Lance, are really going to carve this defense alive. And I'm not sure they know how to deal with it, really. But the 49ers offense, or not the 49ers, the Raiders offense is going to be tough to stop. It's going to be tough. But I don't know that your 49ers secondary is quite good enough to beat. Like, okay, we've seen. No, we haven't. I was going to say we've seen. Okay, I wish I knew more. Like, I only have his stats currently to look at. I want to know actually how good the secondary was. Like, it's kind of crazy how the Bears allowed the second least completions last year. I mean, they also have like Josh Jacobs and friends though, so like, but the 49ers are like good versus the run. I think I trust this 49ers defense. I think, and I think that it's going to be really hard to guard Debo with a uh, secondary room that's just simply not very good. And I'm going to wait to judge this game because Raiders are probably in a must-win scenario. While I don't think the Chargers are not Chargers, I don't know if the Chiefs are. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Okay, I actually don't think they get swept by the Chiefs either way. To be honest, I don't feel like they get swept by the Chiefs. Not this season. I think last season, yeah, but their defense doesn't have to deal with Tyreek. Their offense has Devontae. I'm pretty sure this offense will be fine, and they could definitely manage well versus the Chiefs at least once. Oh, it actually puts the Raiders outside the playoffs, which makes sense because you have a piss poor defense. Your defense is terrible. Um, yeah, we'll go see if the Chiefs make the playoffs. This is what we're doing next. Um, yeah, I think that Raiders offense is extremely good, and there's some games you're gonna be able to steamroll, but I think in games where it's gonna become shootouts versus a good secondary, like this, you gotta deal with J.C. Jackson. This you gotta deal with Pat Surtain. This you get owned by the Chiefs. You're not gonna sweep the Chiefs. I have you beating them once. That's all you got. You gotta deal with Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus May, Honey Badger. You're gonna struggle. Pat Surtain in a good secondary again. Jalen Ramsey and your O-line's bad versus Aaron Donald. You could win this 49ers game. You could. But I think your defense can get torn alive by Debo and the 49ers. But okay, let me think about this game before I go on actually. I don't know that your O-line is good enough to stop like Nick Bosa from just killing you guys. But I don't know that the secondary from San Fran is good enough to stop Devontae and friends. How well did they do? Sure, we can go to 2020. This was Aaron Rodgers throwing to him. I do want to acknowledge that. And it looks like oh, it was also Nick Mullins. That's all I need to know. It was Nick Mullins playing the damn game. Devontae, another 138 yards. Oh, this was the game where he threw 8 passes and won because Raheem Mostert absolutely dismantled this defense. It's crazy. Did they play in 2021? They did because they played in. Yeah, they did. I forgot this was the drive. Devontae Adams, another 138 yards. They played in. No, they didn't. They played the Rams. Wait. Hold on, I'm sure look the history. Yes, see? That's what I'm looking for. Oh, but I should have Googled that, huh? 49ers, Packers divisional round. Okay, can I have the stats? Whatever, this works. Aaron Jones went I'm not gonna necessarily judge this solely on this because this was a game where it was very much not passing. I mean, it was passing, but it was just safe pass. Even the 90 yards. I think Devontae does too much to this 49ers defense. So I am going to change my pick to the Raiders, actually. Which still does not have them in playoffs, by the way, but makes them 11-6. Because I think strictly... Oh, it does have them in the playoffs. My bad, gee. I think the problem with that game is that it's going to be... I don't know how secure I feel with this 49ers secondary versus Devontae Adams, right? And last year, it was like even on the Packers, he was putting up those numbers with not really a good wide receiver too. And now there's a good wide receiver too. Oh, there's also a top 4 tight end. Oh, there's also a good receiving back. Like, I think it's going to be a little bit much for the 49ers to handle, especially in the late stretch where the Raiders have to win that to make playoffs. They're going to do it. So, I am going to say that the Raiders seal it out there, actually, and go 11-6 with I think this is going to be an extremely high-scoring game, and it really could go either way. And I don't know if I want to say 49ers or not, but I think Devontae tends to kind of own the 49ers, even though the Packers get owned by the 49ers. It doesn't mean Devontae doesn't go crazy in like every game. Even then, 138 yards. Yeah, this man is constantly putting over numbers. And then they got to deal with like Darren Waller and friends. And I don't know that they can handle that, honestly. We'll do Chiefs next. I think I was going to do Chargers, but I've already clicked on the Chiefs and I don't feel like clicking anything else. This is what. Oh, there we go. No, I was gonna do Chiefs. Week 1 versus Cardinals. Pretty bad defenses, but without D Hop, you don't have that. Well, okay, without Tyreek, neither do the Chiefs, but it's also Mahomes versus Kyler, and well, I would definitely take Mahomes over Kyler for sure. Um, it's kind of a similar ranking for their wide receiver room as a whole. Their run game, Cardinals are probably better. Both have not really great O lines, but the Chiefs are probably better there. Um, like I'm not sure. The Chiefs are gonna do it though. I mean, Mahomes is gonna show. Well, no, Mahomes is gonna destroy the Cardinals. I don't think I really have to go too in depth. Uh, Chargers at KC, really interesting. I think I'm gonna have them trade with the Chargers, and I did not click on that. I saw that change. Thought you were slick. Um, I'm gonna have the uh KC beat them at home, and then no, I just have to click on it when I get there. But Casey's gonna beat him at home. Slash, they're gonna trade off, because I think it's more likely that they do it the first time, where the Chiefs like show that hey, we're really actually good at the game, ha ha ha. And the second time, the Chargers actually figure out their shit and actually win the game. The second time, they they figure out how to seal it out, unlike the first time. Um. So yeah, I just want to check time, but without opening OBS. I think the first time is more likely because I think ultimately it's Mahomes. He's gonna make it work. He's gonna make the situation work. The games were close with Tyreek, but it doesn't matter. Um, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. I think the first time the Chiefs are gonna figure it out. Also better coaching, just better situation. Um, Colts Chiefs is probably actually a good game. But I think the Chiefs just kind of edge them out on offense. It's kind of I would take Mahomes over anyone on that Colts offense. I it's just a better quarterback than Matt Ryan. It's not like the Chiefs have a bad O line. It's much improved last year. Orlando Brown guys. It was just a good, and it was who's the other guy? I know who I'm thinking of. It's the Creed Humphrey. Yeah, that dude's a stud. Like this O line was definitely, you know, very. It was good last year, so I trust him enough to not make Mahomes go crazy. He might have like a pick here, but I'm not sure that is too big of a deal. I think the Chiefs could probably come away with one as well, but I think the game is probably closer than it should be. But I think the Chiefs just in crunch time, they always find a way. They're gonna find a way again versus the Colts. Bucks Chiefs, really interesting. Very good matchup actually. Um, I think here I'm gonna actually have the Bucks winning. I clicked on it, I swear. I think I'm gonna have the Bucks winning because it's like the Bucks. They didn't play last year, but the year before last, the Bucks kind of dismantled them. But this was also with a significantly worse O line. And actually, the Bucks are kind of a worse team now. I mean, it's gonna be another shootout, right? But ultimately, I trust Brady with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Actually, is it Chris Godwin injured? Mid-September. So let's say it's not mid-September. Yeah, it was like late September. He could. Yeah, so he should be back because he said He said the earliest, so the soonest he should return is mid-September. So yeah, but even by week 4, he'll be ready. So he'll be good then. So he might not be 100% though, which is notable, but ultimately it's Chris Godwin. He'll make it work. And I think that their receiving room kind of outclassed is, and I think their O line's probably slightly better, though I guess didn't one of them leave or some crap? I don't know. I'm not gonna Google it. I don't really care. I mean, I do care because it's my predictions, but like the O line's still good. Obviously, you lost your tight end, and KC outclasses you there by a significant margin, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. Um, I don't think they can really match. Like, I don't know that the Chiefs can match the consistency of Brady's offenses. I think their offenses are just too good. I mean, it's Brady. He's gonna have a top ranked offense every time he plays, and I don't know that. I think I do trust the Bucs secondary a little bit more, even though the Bucs secondary also is not that good, right? Last I checked, unless they got someone in the draft I don't know about. Last I checked, his secondary was not very good. Yeah, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. Their line is their front seven, pretty damn good. But I think this guy was actually okay, but it doesn't look like it statistically. But that's why I don't look at stats only. It's just the easiest way. And I don't even know who this guy is actually. Jamel Dean. I think I recognize the name, but they both from Auburn. Cool. They picked 1 year apart too. They probably played together then. Cool, I guess. Um, this guy's pretty good though. He's decent. I don't know if pretty good. He's decent though. Logan Ryan. I recognize the name. That's all I got. Kind of old, but yeah. I mean, it's like the secondary for the Bucs is not very good, but at least they got one. Well, okay. I'm not certain here because I think the secondary from the Chiefs might actually be a little bit better, but ultimately it's Brady with just consistent receivers. I think I'm gonna take Brady with his consistent receivers. Um, week 5, I already talked about it. Chiefs kind of own the Raiders. I think it's gonna be a shootout, and I think the Raiders can seal it out the second time. But I think it's gonna go for a trade off, and we're just gonna take them at home because I think they're gonna go 1-for-1. And well, no, I did not think that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I think they're gonna go 1-for-1, and you know, we shall see. Coaching, I think coaching didn't edge them out this time, but they might be in playoffs anyway, even if they lose this game, and so the game won't matter for them. And also B, I just kind of, I don't know. I think I trust this Raiders offense to do well, at least one time. Ultimately, it's Mahomes, though. He's gonna make it work at least once. They have a bad secondary. Mahomes will cook them. Next week versus the Bills. Obviously the Bills constantly lose to the Chiefs, but I think this is the time the Bills actually edge them out. That secondary is noticeably worse. I mean, the Bills is significantly better, especially with a good pass rush, an improved pass rush with Von Miller added to the defense too. I don't know why. It's gonna be another close one. Obviously, it always is, but I think eventually, you got to win, right? And I think this is probably the time that they finally edge out KC. Just at least once. I don't know if they will in the playoffs, assuming the Chiefs go, because it looks pretty damn close. 49ers Chiefs. It's gonna be a coaching marathon. That's gonna be really close, actually. The Bills are coming off a loss or the Chiefs are coming off a loss at the Bills. They got week 8 bye. Oh wait, it's right here. They also have week 8 bye. Wow, wait, I looked at that right. Now they have week 9 bye. Week 8 buys here. So Yeah, that's right. That's right. They're looking to their bye week. Uh, 49ers, they're coming off. Huh. I think it's gonna be tough for Trey Lance to keep up with Mahomes, dude. I think it's gonna be really tough for Trey Lance to have to keep up with Mahomes. And I think that's my only concern here. Is that I don't know that he can. It's gonna be tough to keep up, but I think as long as he can keep up, it's a good thing for him. And it's Mahomes versus a questionable secondary, and that doesn't normally end well. It's like, yeah, the 49ers front seven are pretty good, but then you realize that the O line from the Chiefs is also pretty good, so it's kind of, struggling. Trey Lance probably makes a few bad decisions, or maybe even just like one, even one pick is too bad for Mahomes. But they go to their bye week, they're coming out and face the Titans. I mean, they're coming off a bye week, and ultimately the Titans' defense is questionable. So is the Chiefs, except one's a passing offense and one's a rushing offense. While the Titans might just run all over KC, and the Titans have kind of like in the last 5 times they've played, the Titans have won it 4 times. But I think Mahomes is coming back from last year, where he got kind of whitewashed by the Titans, and he's gonna realize, hey, I kind of want to win this game, and especially coming off the bye week, I think they'll be rested and be ready for this game. They're playing the Jaguars next. I don't think that's really a concern. It's the fucking Jaguars. I don't think I really have to talk too much about that. It's the Jaguars. It's the Chiefs. There's two very different, people there. Then they're going to the Chargers to play the Chargers at home. They already edged them out one time in a close game. I don't think they're going to be able to do that twice. I think that offense is going to I think that defense being lackluster is going to really noticeably hit here, where they realize how much worse their defense is. Than the Chargers, especially. And the Chargers probably can come over with another turnover and actually clutch the game out versus them. Then they got to play the Rams. I just want to look and make sure the Rams. I want to look at their week 11. The Rams week 11 versus the Saints. So. So, I'm thinking about it because I think obviously the Rams are the better team, right? But ultimately, I don't know that Mahomes is necessarily going to struggle here, but I really don't see how he gets through Jalen Ramsey and an electric offense that's probably going to cook your defense. Yeah, I just don't know if I see that working out for you. Did they count the game? I don't know if it's counted. I think it's now it's counted. I think. Oh, now I think it's not counted. Yep. Now it's. Hold on. The website kind of bugging. Okay, whatever. I'll just go to the next match. I don't know that they can match. Oh my god, can it stop? Why does it do that? I actually don't have any idea, but whatever. Yeah, that's tough. Then they go. So after having a tough 2-loss streak versus the Chargers and the Rams, they gotta go to the Bengals, and they gotta play the Bengals. Um, the Bengals have been having the edge over the Chiefs, and I don't know why that would not happen again. It's gonna be like the exact same game as last year, really. It's gonna be one mistake's gonna cost you. But I think this is going to be a tough one for Mahomes. To kind of a tough break because he's in must-win category. Because at this point, you're sitting at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 wins. 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins and 1, 2, 3 losses, 4 losses, 7-4, which is not bad. Moving to 7-5 for this playoff race, kind of tough, and you know. Okay, I think I'm gonna change my Raiders pick because I think that play match is actually gonna come down to it's gonna be the playoff for the playoffs, and I think I would much rather take Mahomes trying to clutch it for the playoff than that. Whatever, we'll figure it out. I think the Bengals have had the edge twice now, and I don't know why that wouldn't happen again. The offense just is loaded more, and the games are close with Tyreek. Tyreek is gone. I don't know how close the games are going to be anymore. We'll see. Versus the Broncos at Broncos. I just don't see Mahomes losing 4 in a row ever. I can't see Mahomes losing 4 in a row. That's genuinely the only reason here. I don't know how he would lose 4 in a row. I think it'd be tough for him to lose 4 in a row. While the Broncos might be favored here, especially at home, he's not going to lose to 4. Tough break. You got to play 4 good teams in a row, but you're not going to lose all 4 of them. You're going to win one of them, and I think this is probably the more winnable one. Yeah, I guess. Maybe you can have good cornerback play against kind of just mid-level receivers and make it work. Yeah, I just don't think you're going to drop 4 games in a row as Mahomes and the Chiefs. Too good of a coach to do that too. Andy Reid is. Then you got to play the Texans, kind of a freebie. I don't think I really have to talk about that. Then you play the Seahawks, freebie. I don't really have to talk about that. Both of these teams just have lack of talent on the defensive and offensive side. That's really it. Yeah. Then you go to week 17. You're sitting at 10-5 because you have not lost to the Raiders yet. I'm gonna take away this game because I'm not sure yet. I think if it comes down to shooting for a playoff spot, I think because I think you're in crunch time where you kind of are in must-win category. But I don't know if I see you sweeping the Broncos. I don't know that I see it. I don't know that I see you sweeping the Broncos. Matter of fact, I think I actually just don't see you sweeping the Broncos. I think I see the Broncos winning. Because I don't see you sweeping the Broncos. That team is very good. I don't think you have quite the pass rush threatening enough to stop that O-line, which is really the weakest part of that team. And then, yeah, I just don't see you sweeping the Broncos. That's the easiest way I got to put it. Just hit my mic. They're going into week 18. 2 10-6 teams. This is really for playoffs. Because it's whoever wins. It's basically the Chargers Raiders last season, except it's Mahomes. I will say the Chiefs have historically kind of owned the Raiders. They owned them twice last year. But I think when it comes down to it, it's Mahomes. He knows it's a must-win game if he wants to make playoffs. We're going to pick the Chiefs. I'm going to change the pick from the Raiders. It's a must-win game. If he wants to go to playoffs, which I guarantee this man does, he's got to win the game. Because otherwise, I think he's out. And I wish it would load. I did not click it, apparently. I think in a must-win category, I would much rather take Mahomes than Derek Carr. In that must-win situation. They kind of have a lead. So, think with the Chiefs. Early, good start. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They go 7-2 to start the season, but then they get an unfortunate bracket where they got to play 3 contenders in a row, really. So they drop all 3, and they play another good team, probably another contender, the Broncos. And I just don't see them dropping 4 games in a row. They get a kind of a freebie versus the next 2 weeks versus the Seahawks and Houston. And then they don't get swept by the Broncos. And then week 18, it comes down to crunch time, where it's either Mahomes or Derek Carr goes to the playoffs. And unfortunately, I don't see Derek Carr. I think I see Mahomes going to the playoffs rather than Derek Carr. So, we'll do Chargers next, I think. If I can click on it. Don't worry, I'm waiting. I'll just reload the page, it's fine. What are we at? An hour 20? Not even too bad. That's kind of a long time, actually. But it just gets easier because there's less match. I mean, I've not even predicted the Broncos schedule or the Chargers, and they're already both have 10 games done, so it just gets faster. Just waiting for it to reload. Here we go. Alright, we're gonna do Chargers. Okay, week 1. I've already described week 1 versus the Raiders. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think Chargers have the edge here just because of secondary play. Chiefs, Chargers, I think they split, but I think early on we don't really know how to deal. Like, I don't know that the Chargers can necessarily know what the game plan is for the Chiefs, so I think Andy Reid, just knowing how to go to coach, if he is, he can win that game quite easily. I've already described that game. I think it's a coaching thing here. But I think the second time he seals it out. I will say that already. Then week 3, you have the Jaguars. A significantly better team. It's not close. I don't really have to describe that. Week 4, you play Houston. Significantly better team. I don't have to describe that. Week 5, it's going to be the Jacoby Brissett show. Significantly better team because Jacoby Brissett. I don't really have to describe that too much. I will say that this game should be actually kind of close. Not due to quarterback play though, and that's why he wins the game, because of quarterback play. It's just close because Nick Chubb and guys, and good secondary play from Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward. But yeah, then we get week 6 matchup: Broncos, Chargers. I don't know. This is kind of a sick matchup. I think they're on a hot streak right now, and I don't think I see them losing Monday Night Football to the Broncos. I do see them trading with the Broncos. I'll go ahead and say that. But oh, they play week 18 though. Well, okay. Let me think about this. I think a new coach. I will say that as well. So okay, so quarterback play. I think Herbert's got him. I think receivers is Chargers. Tight end. Is it Chargers? I don't even know who the fuck the Broncos tight end is anymore. Because Albert, cool. I don't know who that guy is. And I think I don't remember who their tight end is. Oh, Gerald Everett, yeah. I think, right? That's actually accurate. I think that is accurate, though. I just want to double check, make sure I'm not talking smack. I recognize this name. I do know who this is. Yeah, he was on there. I remember that. So Chargers have him on. They probably got him on O-line too. Like, I think the Chargers kind of just beat them everywhere except defense, which might matter. and it's not by close. Like everywhere is close except tight end. I don't know if that's close. I think the Chargers O line is probably the best in the division. I think Chargers receivers. Uh, they don't really have the greatest three, but I think that's fine. Uh, well, the Broncos also have kind of a mid three. The three's not bad, but it's not really that great. I think the Chargers on a hot streak and kind of are just better everywhere on offense. I think in a second match though, it would be like in a matchup with starters, like a second match, because this one I don't know if it's gonna be starters because I don't. I'll see. I'll just talk about it then. But they have a couple free games, which I think kind of put. Yeah, I think they'll be good for playoffs because they're gonna win this one versus the Seahawks. It's the Seahawks. They suck. Coming off a bye week, they're gonna play the Falcons. Falcons are dog crap. They're gonna beat the Falcons. Week 10, a Trey Lance, Debo Samuel led 49ers are going to play at 49ers versus the Chargers. I think the Chargers got to lose somewhere, and I think this is where you take the loss. I think that I don't know if Stanley is his last name. Staley. It's Staley. God. I don't know if Staley has played anything like this at this point, which might be a struggle for him. Because it's a completely different system. I mean, you got to beat Kyle Shanahan's offense, and that shit is so hard, unless you've ever seen it before. Which I'm sure he's seen it before. I don't think they've played before. And he experienced that crap firsthand, which is something you got to do. It's gonna be tough. And I think that mobility of Trey Lance is really going to help him here because he doesn't have to. He can manage the pass rush. Like I think he can actually handle the pass rush here. And I think this is technically an upset, but still, really shouldn't be much of one. I think the Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack pass rush isn't quite as big of a deal because Trey Lance is mobile, just get him out of the pocket, and that's probably what he should design it as. Quick screens or very much using his mobility to prosper here. The Week 11 versus the Chiefs. I mean, I already said it. I think I have you trading with the Chiefs. I think early on you get the edge, but I think you caught a stride. You're bouncing back after Week 10, lost to the 49ers. I think you're going to bounce back versus the Chiefs and win at home. Especially because you haven't won a home game for 3 weeks, which you haven't had one, but still, that's not the point here. Then you play the Cardinals. I think you'll win it. I mean, I think you'll be okay versus the Cardinals. I do. And that's just because I think you're more, not necessarily more dominant, but DeAndre Hopkins will be back. I just don't think the talent is fully there defensively. I don't think the Cardinals can manage the Chargers offense really. I think that's where it's going to struggle. I already talked about this game, the Raiders Chargers. I think that they trade probably. I think the Raiders get their crap together. And also, I think they were on a losing streak at this point. Weren't they? No. No, they were not. That was somewhere else. But either way, I think at Raiders, you're going to come back from the other game, and you trade with the Chargers. I already talked about it on the Raiders side of it. Then we get Chargers Dolphins. This is gonna be cool, fun matchup to watch. But I will say that I think the consistency of Herbert is probably going to be a little bit much for Tua to handle here, at least. I think that it's going to be tough, especially for I don't know how hard, I don't know how good the Dolphins defense is going to be. Like, even if you look at the Dolphins defense this year, it was somewhere. It was somewhere. Hold on. Yeah, 16th. It was very much in the middle. 16th. Wow, that's crazy. Don't tell me it's 16th. It's not. I thought it was 14th. Wow. Yeah, they were just a middle of the pack defense. Fuck, I just closed it. I think the problem here is gonna be that the Dolphins defense kind of sells the game, and I think Tua makes one bad read, and suddenly this game's like a two-score game, and I think that's gonna be the ultimate downfall. Is that I think Tua makes one bad interception in a bad position, and it costs them the game because I think the Chargers then will kick a field goal or score a touchdown and go up by 2 scores, and I don't know that Tua can come back from that. Um, Titans Chargers. I think the run defense was improved a little bit. Khalil Mack. I think that the pass game from the Chargers is going to be a little bit much to handle. Um, Titans secondary is kind of it's okay, but you got some names, but it's names that they got to prove themselves because last year pass defense was it was not that good. He's gonna have to compete and show that pass defense is not that bad. Maybe it's not. It might not be that bad, but I think until they prove that it's not that bad, then I think it's going to assume that it's that bad. And I don't think I trust Tannehill to throw versus J.C. Jackson and Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. I don't think I trust Tannehill to do that, especially with Treylon Burks and Robert Woods, your receivers. I just don't trust them here. Colts Chargers. I have the Colts in a quote unquote upset. I think that was this. No. Oh yeah, it's coming off a bye week. It's Colts must. This is a must-win territory for Colts. They got to make the run. They had a bye week. It's probably convenient timing for the Colts actually that they have theirs late because then they can go on a streak where they win their last 4, especially because 3 of their games are kind of easy. They just got to upset the Chargers, which they do. In my world, I think here is where the Chargers kind of get put in check right before playing in LA, but I think the thing here is gonna be let me think. I think the thing here is that Herbert hasn't played a good secondary since looks like week 5, unless you want to count the Broncos, which means it was week 6. Seattle secondary's ass. As a whole, Atlanta secondary is ass. 49ers isn't good. Chiefs isn't good. Cardinals isn't good. Raiders is bad. They're bad. They're bad. Like he has not faced a good secondary since week 5, and I think that's gonna hurt him here. Where he can't, he's probably gonna be an MVP candidate. I think he's gonna face, I think Kenny Moore is gonna be on Mike Williams pretty well. Or no, Kenny Moore is probably gonna be on Keenan Allen, and then I think Mike Williams will be covered by Gilmore, and then I don't know. I think it's kind of like a snapback to reality, if you will, just because the secondary doesn't make you're not going to be able to score as much as you would like to. Like every one of these games, you're actively scoring 25, 30 points in like every game. And then this one, you're not going to be able to do that versus a good defense. So I think it's kind of just again a snapback to reality, where it's a kickback game, or you score maybe 25, 20 points, and is where the Colts get the edge there because they're used to scoring like 25-ish points. They gotta continue to do that, and they're gonna do it again, especially when you don't know how good that run defense is gonna play versus Jonathan Taylor. I think it's really hard for to say that the Chargers won't get upset here. If you're going to consider that an upset. And then you got the Rams the next week, and the Rams are kind of just this dominant team. I can see the Chargers winning this, but I think the experience here. I think the experience here kind of hurts the Chargers here because it's a knowingly good defense. Aaron Donald might just carve this O line alive. It might not. Don't know. Derwin James is gonna have to mark Keenan, not Keenan, Cooper Kupp with his life because, well, I mean, okay, you got Derwin and J.C. Jackson, so I think you'll be able to lock them up well. But I'm not I think you need both of them actively double covering Cooper Kupp. And again, this would be like the best receiving, thing you face since week 13, where you face Tay and Carr and all those guys. I think it's gonna be really hard. Sorry. I think it's gonna be very hard to cover everyone on this LA offense. And the difference with that and the Raiders is that the Raiders don't have a good defense, while LA does. They got Jalen Ramsey, which is really all they need to lead that defense in secondary. That's really just all they need. Their safety duo, I think, is pretty weak, but I think Jalen Ramsey makes up for that very strongly. How well were they versus the pass? Yeah, see how low they were? Just because Ramsey can't do everything, and he kind of has to do everything. I think that's the biggest concern, is that Ramsey's kind of that only reason the passing defense is very good, just because Ramsey himself. But I think he can handle it here, as long as he can guard Keenan Allen pretty well. I think you'll be all right. And then the offense, I'm not sure if and I think it's a coaching thing as well. Like, I don't know if you can beat a Sean McVay offense too. I think it's just a hard one to win. Now you're going into week 18, competing for the division. If you lose this, are you still ahead of the Chiefs? No, because you're 3-3 in division, and you traded off with the Chiefs. So yeah, you would not be ahead. So I'm not gonna judge this game yet because I need to know if the Broncos are competing for the division. Are they competing for anything? Let me look. Week 1, oh, it's a Drew Lock revenge game. Wow. It's a Drew Lock revenge game. Yeah, anyway, week 2 you get the Texans. I don't think anyone cares about that. Week 3 you get 49ers. That's interesting. Because I feel like the 49ers could honestly do it. Yeah, I think the 49ers could win it. Because, yeah, Debo's, like, not that... I think, Debo's not that pure receiver that's, like, going out and... Pat Surtain's going to have to cover him like that. I think he's going to have to cover him in a different way. Surtain's not necessarily used to it. While he can do that, and he will do it, trust me, I think it's going to be different, right? And I think it's going to be a little bit harder for Surtain because he's going to play more, not necessarily zone, but it's going to be like makeshift zone because, Debo's going to be playing out the backfield a lot. That's how he's played. So, and otherwise, I don't know who was going to cover Debo. And then Ayuk is looking to have a pretty decent connection with Trey Lance, especially at practices. They've been having a pretty good connection, so I don't know. I think this was going to be kind of tough for them. Yeah, I'll pick the 49ers in the upset, quote unquote. Especially because the Broncos had a good first 2 weeks. They had pretty easy matches the first 2 weeks. And they get, the tough opponent here, where I'm not sure they're 100% ready for it. They should be, just because coaching, but it's also a rookie coach versus. That's another thing. It's a new coach versus, Kyle Shanahan. And that doesn't really go well. So, um, the week 4, Broncos, I think they get the edge here. Um, I think the Broncos get the edge of the Raiders here, just because, like, I don't have a problem with the Raiders, but I feel like the defense is just too much. Like on both sides, ironically enough, I think the defense from the Raiders is just bad, and I feel like Russ loves to cook bad defenses. And while and the Broncos defense, on the other hand, is very good, and Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain can hold it down so where you only have to score maybe 30-ish points. I don't know, and that's a lot of points, but it's a bad defense. You should be okay. So I think the Broncos actually just outright sweep the Raiders. Um, they got the Colts actually beating the Broncos. And this is just because I'm very high on that secondary from the Colts. The cornerback room is very good, the duo. Because I think you could actually cover well with Kenny Moore here, covering the slot really well. You got not Sertan, Gilmore covering out, and then you got the safety duo covering deep. Like I think you'll be okay defensively. It's just a matter of can you score offensively. And I think Jonathan Taylor paired with Matt Ryan and Pittman, I think you'll be okay. I think you can score well enough to where it's not necessarily Russ can't score, a lot of points, but I think it's gonna be they're gonna have to play a different game um, than before, and it might be a little bit hard to adjust to the good defense of the Colts, especially with not necessarily a subpar O line, but a subpar O line versus a pretty decent pass rush. So, and they can't really use their pass rush because this Colts O line is extremely good. So, I think it's just a good matchup for the Colts. And I'm not really into matchups, but I think here it's actually just a good matchup. Then week 6, I have them losing to the Chargers at home. I think it's gonna be a good game. It's just a matter of I kind of had to pick someone. And here it's the Chargers at home. While I don't know that the Chargers like it is a rookie coach. He's gonna have a quarterback that's not necessarily used to the system. I'm sure he'll be fine in the system. Russ is experienced, but he's only ever played on the Seahawks with Pete Carroll. And it's gonna be his first year here. It's also the first year head coach versus not Roger. Is it Robert? Is it Robert? Robert Staley? Roger Staley? I forgot his name. Is it Robert Staley? I don't think it was Roger Staley. Brandon Staley. That's what it is. I just had right. It's Brandon Staley. Yeah, I do that. I didn't question it at all. I forgot his name for a second, but yeah, it's just kind of new guys versus guys that have been here for a few years and finally have a kind of not necessarily a super team, but a very good team. And I think defensively you'll be ready for us. And I'm not sure that the Broncos are necessarily ready for Herbert and friends. Week 7, the Broncos get Jets. They're just a much better team. Week 8, they get the Jaguars. Just a much better team. It's pretty simple, actually. They got bye week, and coming out of the bye week, they get the Titans. Titans secondary is questionable. The defense as a whole is pretty questionable. They're coming out of a bye week. They'll definitely be ready to win this game. I think they'll feel pretty comfortable here. I think it's free, but it's definitely like a more comfort game. You're coming out of the bye week. You're facing a team that it's good. The offense is good, but also your defense is good, and Tannehill is not very good. And he's throwing to a rookie, Treylon Burks, who should be okay by now. But if he's a bust, then god damn, you're throwing to Robert Woods and Robert Woods alone. So, which is fine, but I think it's gonna be like kind of a tough one for the Titans because they're kind of just not beating good teams. They're 4-7 versus teams that are winning. Like when they faced the Raiders, they lost. When they faced the Bills, they lost. When they faced the Colts, they lost. The first time, the second time they beat them, but they faced them. They faced the KC, they lost. They faced the Broncos, they lost. They faced Bengals, they lost. They faced the Chargers, they lost. Like it's just a tough one. Um. So yeah, and then week 11, I talked about it already, but for the Raiders, I feel like they just kind of get swept. I think it's a bad matchup. I think the Broncos defense is gonna still limit to the Broncos, not the Broncos. I think the Broncos defense can actually play well versus the Raiders, where Russ scores plenty points to win the game both times. Like I don't think you understand how bad this Raiders defense is gonna be. It's got nobody. Just the pass rush is good. That's it. But other than that, Russ knows how to play in the pocket. He's good at it. He knows how to manage it. He's played in bad O-line before, and this is a slightly better. It's not even slightly better. It's just much better, but it's still just not good. Like he played on the Seahawks O-line. That O-line's trash. Um. So yeah, I really think it'll be okay. He knows how to maneuver in the pocket, and other than that, they really don't have anything. He's gonna cook this defense. Then you get the Panthers. Panthers have a good defense. The offense is kind of bad though. It's not even bad. Like the O line's bad, but you have a good receiver one. You have a good running back, especially a very good running back that has receiving upside. You have a quarterback that's was okay, not necessarily last year, but the year before last he was very good. But I don't think he can match. I don't think he can match Rush. I don't think Baker can match Russ at all. Um, I think it'd be tough for Baker to match Russ, especially when he's in a better system as a whole. Um, and the Panthers head coach might suck. So, and while the Broncos head coach will be new, I don't know if that doesn't necessarily mean he sucks. So I just think this is a better team as a whole, better quarterback, better receiving as a whole, better running back core, better O line, better defense. I mean, it's probably not a better defense. I'm really high on uh, the Panthers defense, but I think that defense can only carry them so much. And versus, I think it's fine versus other bad defenses because your offense can prosper. But other than that, it's gonna be really tough. I think the Broncos kind of go on a skid. They dropped 2 games one to the Ravens. It's Sunday. I don't know why that. I just looked at Sunday and read Sunday. But they're playing the Ravens at home. The Ravens. I feel like Lamar and the Ravens as a whole are really tough for a new coach to come in and deal with because they haven't really ever dealt with it. Like I think it's just gonna be hard to deal with Lamar and sorry, it's gonna be tough to deal with Lamar and the run game, especially with the secondary being very good. They should have the entire field covered. Probably a lower scoring game, but I think in those lower scoring games, the Ravens didn't do very well because that rushing offense is just very good. And I think the Chiefs, you're not going to sweep the Chiefs. I think I haven't beating them once. Do I? Yeah, I haven't beaten them a second time. I just don't think you're going to sweep the Chiefs. I think you'll get out-coached here, but the second time you'll adjust. But I think here you're just going to get out-coached the first time. And then you'll experience firsthand and realize, hey, I can fix this and do it the second time. I think I just think you're getting out-coached here. Then week 15 versus the Cardinals. You've dropped 2 games in a row. You're playing at home. You haven't won a home game since week 11. I think you beat the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are very good. The secondary is very the defense as a whole is really questionable. Their pass rush probably isn't even that good anymore, which means that old line doesn't really matter. And even the way you know how to maneuver in the pocket, your offense may be very good as the Cardinals, but the defense of the Broncos is very good as well. Like I think this Broncos team is gonna be okay here. Um, and so I just think this is a better team. Probably the better quarterback, better run game. Probably not, definitely not better receivers, but and definitely not a better tight end. But I think the defense is noticeably better, and I think that's what's gonna really hurt the Cardinals here. Um, the week 16. I refuse. I just don't think. I don't know that the Broncos. I don't think a new head coach can beat a Kyle Shanahan off. Not a Kyle Shanahan. Sean McVay offense. I think it's gonna be too much. I think it's gonna be way overbearing. I don't think they can handle it. Then week 17. Whoever wins this game wins the division, right? No. If the Broncos win, the Chiefs win the division. If the Chargers win, the Broncos miss the playoffs but win the division. Russ has been here. The Broncos are gonna win probably. They're also that means it's playing at home. You need to win to make the playoffs. You've been here before as Russ. You're not going to get swept. You lost the last game. You're just, I think the situation's about as good as it gets for him to win the game. And ends up working where the Chiefs win the division again. Wow, that's crazy. I have 3 teams. Look at this division, dude. 11-6, 11-6, 11-6, 10-7, 10-7 puts you last in the division. That is insane. That is insane. Like this division, I think comes down to the final week for sure, definitely. But I think in the end, the Broncos are not gonna get swept, and Mahomes. Like they're not gonna get swept at home, and it's Russ. He's gonna make the playoffs more than likely. And here, I just trust Mahomes making the playoffs in the crunch time over Derek Carr. So there we go. Very tight division. It's a tough division. Literally, first and last are 1 game difference. I mean, it's insane how close this division is. But I think the Raiders, I think that defense really hurts them. I think that defense being bad just really hurts them. And it makes them miss the playoffs, even with Devontae. It's not quite the saving grace you needed. So there's my playoff bracket, actually, for the AFC. Bills at 1, Bengals at 2, Chiefs at 3, Colts at 4. 5 and 6 go to Broncos, Chargers, and 7 goes to the Dolphins. The worst record in the playoffs is 11 and 6. Very good. It's also crazy because currently everyone in the playoffs over here, like, it looks about right actually. But whatever. Yep. All right, that's my AFC done. Yeah, I think everything looks about good to me. It's very similar to last year, ironically enough. Really is just these two kind of swapping places. These two, no, it's not very similar to last year. This puts the Colts in the playoffs, Chargers in the playoffs, Broncos in the playoffs, Miami in playoffs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different teams in the playoffs that were not in it last year. So it's very different, but nonetheless, AFC West competitive as hell. It could go really any way. It's really tough to win that division. It's very hard to make playoffs in this AFC conference. Um, there's like 3 teams that just outright can't make it. And I think that's the Jets, Houston, and Jaguars. I think those are the only 3 teams that outright just can't make the playoffs. I think everyone else could. I think everyone else can make the playoffs. I think it's very hard. But nonetheless, NFC's coming next. Probably gonna start with the NFC North, probably, just because I think it's the easiest. Probably then do AFC, NFC South, then East, then West. Maybe. Why is there a star there? What does a star mean? Wait, I don't know what a star means. Why do they have stars? Oh, is it because the coin flip? Wait, but why? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It kind of matters. Wait, why? Is it just because they're like tied? It's literally just a coin flip. Cool. Anyway, um, yeah. Bills get the first seed in the bye week. Bengals could run it back. They win the division. Can they run it back? We're gonna see. Yeah, there's my AFC done. We'll see you guys with the NFC North whenever I get around to it.